So, ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to introduce two teams in Bangalore. Please welcome the visitor team, Czech Republic, on the field. First, let me introduce you to the coaches. Hlavní trenér Martin, trenér Viktorina a poslední Pavel Čech a zbytek coacheského týmu. A nyní mi dovolte představit line-up českých hráček. Jako první s číslem 23 na 3. metře Vernika Vojtová. Jako další s číslem 11 na 7 metře Aleta Mlendová. Jako další s číslem 25 centrfield Barbara Savojová. Jako další s číslem 21 středčil Michala Protektová. Jako další číslem 25 Čelko Lavoničková. Jako další číslem 47 druhá meta Gabriela Savá. Jako další číslem 43 pravé pole Eliša Pejková. Jako další číslem 29 Jiří Eliša Panová. Jako další číslem 18 první meta Jana Pujková. A navazovatelka číslem 15 Kateřina Pěknová. Další hráčky jsou číslem 9 Veronika Pecková, číslem 8 Anna Bolová, číslem 15 Magdalena Kavalová, číslem 27 Michala Činová, číslem 24 Andrea Kovačka a číslem 13 Amálie Kolouková. And now I will be pleased to introduce Team Australia. With the goalkeeper first. Okay, the players first. First, with number 17, left field, Olivier. With number 21, second base, Xavier right field. With number 65, catcher, Kyle Ciccone. With number 32, third base, Taylor Buckman. With number 88, third base, George Evans. With number 1, center field, Dave Wall. With number 79, designated player, Jeff Green. With number 22, shortstop, Diego. With number 11, right field, Ken Peters. And the pitcher with number 53, Samuel Lance. And the substitutes for the game are with number 12, Steve Patterson, with number 6, Aaron Roberts, with number 22, Kaya Bernabach, with number 26, Chelsea Robinson, with number 24, Stefan Zielinski, and with number 66, Daniel Greenwood. And now the coaches, head coach, Tim Porter, another coach, Xavier Ware, and the last coach, Benjamin Jones, and the rest of the coaching team and staff. And now please raise and listen to the national anthem of both teams, starting with visitor team Czechia. And now we will listen to the national anthem of Australia.
One game down, 18 left to play, and the WBSC Women's Softball World Cup and the journey to the LA 2028 Olympic Games is already off to a hot start. We pick up the action here at Svoboda Ballpark in Prague as the host Czechia opens play against the team that will host the finals, Australia. My name is Chris Knobloch, and my broadcast partner Tim Collins and I are privileged to bring you all the action from Group Prague. Action that started with an instant classic earlier today as Canada defeated Italy 11-10 in 8 innings. And Tim, you had the play-by-play call for that game. It was a fantastic start to Group Prague.
Yeah, we expected close contests in this game, and that's exactly what we got. That game didn't have a decision after 7 innings. We needed to play extra softball just to figure out who was going to win. And these two teams here, you know, on paper, it's kind of hard to compare them because Czech Republic has not played in a World Cup in quite a long time. And Australia obviously made it to the finals in 2024, finishing 7th, while Czech recently finished 5th in the European Championships. But when you look at the types of players they actually match up very well. They have a young pitcher, Katerina Kindermanova, who will be pitching today. And Australia, they have met in the Canada Cup in the past, and Czechia has won against actually not only Australia, but they've also won against 2 other teams in this group in that tournament. So they have shown that they can step it up a notch here in their home ballpark against some of the international competition that they don't get many chances to see.
As attention turns to Australia, Czechia, and thank you, Tim, for that whirlwind tour of our first 4 teams in action. Let's give you the lineup as tonight's hosts, who are the road team, play their first World Championship match since the 24th of August in 2016. That is 3,614 days ago. Here is the starting lineup for Czechia, the visitors and hosts of Group Prague. Veronika Klimpova will bat leadoff. She will play third base. She'll be followed by Aneta Malintova, the left fielder, batting second. Barbara Saviola will bat third and play center field, followed by Michaela Smechka-Peklova, the catcher. In the 5 spot, Emma Vachikova, the shortstop. She'll be followed by Gabriela Slaba, the second baseman. In the 7 spot, Eliska Stechaklova, the right fielder. She'll be followed by Eliska Slaninova, the designated player. And they will be followed by the captain, Jana Furkova. She will be over at first base. Doing the pitching for Czechia will be Katerina Kindermanova, getting her first start here of Group Prague. Defensive alignment for Australia from left to right across your screen. Olivia Elliott will play in left, Jade Wall in center, and Shannon Keevers over in right. Around the horn, starting at the hot corner, Shaylin Watman is at third base. Myra Giros is at short. Tamika Whitefield will play second base, and Georgia Hood is over at first. Taylor Tiscaronis, who is serving as the captain for this Group Prague, will do the catching for Kendra Lamb, making her 50th appearance in an Aussie Spirit uniform tonight. And coming off a 1-1 record at the World Games, a 2.40 ERA, 3 starts, 4 games total, 11 2/3 innings pitched for her, 10 strikeouts, 8 runs, only 4 earned, however.
Yeah, she's a very experienced pitcher. She also spent 2026 pitching in the Taiwanese Women's Professional League. And at the World Games, you mentioned it, she had an ERA of under 3 in over 11 innings pitched. And at the 24 World Cup, an ERA just around 3 in about 10 innings. She is really originally from Kurrajong, New South Wales. And she will be toeing the slab in the circle as this game is about to begin. The home plate umpire is Galip Somnes from Germany. Renzo Ruiz from Mexico is on the first base line. Jiling Yu of China is manning the second base position, and Dennis Cotarini from Italy is the third base umpire. As we had all the pregame ceremonies, there's a big crowd on hand here in Prague at the top of the hill here in Svoboda Park. Absolutely beautiful location. The weather has also been seemingly every 5 minutes something completely different. Now it's looking pretty beautiful with some blue skies in straightaway center field, but the lights are on anyway.
Lights are on, and it's warmed up quite a bit. It's now 23 degrees Celsius, about 73 Fahrenheit for those in the old ways. And this, one of the most intriguing matchups we have here in the first round, the only matchup between host nations. Now, Australia has the automatic bid, either as the wild card or by winning this pool, to the 2027 finals. That will be in Redcliffe, Australia, in Queensland, up north, about 45 minutes away from Brisbane at the Kayo Stadium. 10,000-seat arena being converted to softball from rugby for that event. all that said, I asked Carrie Porter a very simple question, the head coach of Australia. She had said in an earlier interview that this is a selection event for Australia. She answered me with 4 words: we're here to win.
So she made it absolutely clear, and she also followed that up with another phrase, which I think was very telling of the attitude that she brings as she is now taken over the reins from Lang Harrow with the national team. She said, success breeds success. And that's a brilliant attitude to have, especially when you're in a situation like this where, yeah, technically you could just try a bunch of stuff and see what happens because you know you're going to be in one way or the other. But at the same time, do you really want to go in on the international stage and to sort of phone it in? I don't think so.
Absolutely not. And it has to be said that Australia's 2024 World Cup finals were quite a disappointment for a nation that tends to be pretty strong. One of only 2 nations to actually win the World Cup. So, actually, excuse me, one of 2 nations only to participate in every World Cup. My apologies, I can't read my own handwriting.
That's a problem I have too. Don't worry.
It's been a long day. This is only the 2nd game so far. We will have one further after this as Cuba will take on Chinese Taipei. That will take place roughly half an hour after this game ends. Tentatively scheduled for 9:30 local time here in Czechia. Tiscaronis throws down to Heroes, and we are ready to rock and roll here. What has turned into a lovely evening. It was overcast, but now a break in the skies. The sun is out. The temperature has warmed up. And we have some softball here in Prague at the home of Yauders Praha. And I will just add 8 players from Yauders are in this Czech team. That is half of their World Cup roster. Belongs to this club, the reigning 6-time national champions of Czechia. Klimpova steps in from the left side. Lamb is ready, and here comes the first pitch. That is high for ball 1. We are underway at 7:03 local time. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you are around the world for the WBSC Women's Softball World Cup. Tim Collins, Chris Knobloch bringing you all the action here. As the count 0-1, or 1-0, excuse me, Lamb delivers. And that will even things at 1.
That pitch spinning over the outside edge. The first one was a little bit inside to Veronika Klimpova. Klimpova in the U18 World Cup was 4 of 21. That was a couple of years ago.
Lamb working much more deliberately than the pitchers from our first game. She's delivering with about 4 seconds left on the clock. The 1-1 is down low. And for the first time, we will have some very fun analytics on our broadcast, as one of the great sponsors here of the WBSC, TrackMan, has very generously given us their data. That last pitch at 67 miles an hour. We'll be bringing you some of those stats throughout the game and throughout the week as that pitch misses. 3-1 the count.
That one,
like
that one had some giddy up on it as well.
Lamb does like to use that rise ball, and that was one of the pitches that let her down a little bit in the 2024 edition of the World Cup final in Italy. She was leaving that rise ball up, and when that ball is left up, just like any pitch that moves relatively straight, it can become beach ball sized for a batter. But she has since become one of the staff anchors here for Australia, as the 26-year-old former Raging Cajun delivers. This is chopped up the middle. Over is Giros, but she can't make the play. Would have been a close play at first regardless. And the leadoff runner is aboard for Czechia.
Klimpova got a pitch down and away, and she chopped it over the head of Kendra Lamb. And Giros had to race way over to her left in front of the bag. Take another look at this. We saw how high the ball was bouncing on the infield in the first game, and that was a case where there wasn't much Giros probably could have done had she even gotten to that ball.
That was chopped right in front of the plate. Almost backspun into foul territory, but instead it is a leadoff single for Klimpova, and that brings up Molintova, another left-handed batter. In at third base is Watman, and the bunt goes foul off the Australia dugout. One quick note about the ground rules here. There are no dugout doors. So anything that rolls into the dugout and hits the first step is a dead ball. Of course, we will tell you if that is the case. The count 0-1 to Molintova. Taking another step in is Watman at third. The pitch. Swung on and foul tipped into the mitt. Nothing in two. Tiscaronis doing a good job to hold on to that. As that was fouled off the end of the bat. She was able to hold on. Nothing in two, the count now.
That was ruled a base hit, by the way, from Klimkova. And I think obviously rightly so.
That was going to be a very tough play for Giros. And now showing bunt again is Molintova with 2 strikes. She'll bring the bat back. 0-2. This is skied out towards left field. Elliott is over. She will make the catch, diving away from her as that ball was tailing towards the foul line. Gets it back in quickly, and Molintova has to retreat. But a good effort by Elliott in left field.
Yeah, she had a brief moment of panic as she went back on that. Let's look at it again. You can see she's just slapping at that pitch up and away, and Elliott was playing shallow, but she was able to get back there and make a nice basket catch for the first out.
Almost an over-the-shoulder catch, but she had turned around twice, so I don't know if that counts as over-the-shoulder anymore as Savola steps in. Saviola, another left-handed hitter, and that you will see a lot out of this Czech team as that pitch over the outside corner for a strike.
She's one of the players to watch offensively. She currently plays in Italy with Serrano, and she's batting .458 with 3 home runs there over the first half of the season.
Kendra Lamb so far a model of consistency. Every one of her fastballs has been 67 miles an hour without exception. That's chopped off the plate foul, and again ahead in the count, 0-2. That's what Lamb needs to do, is to attack these hitters right away, get quick outs, and keep Czechia off balance. There is not that much experience at this level for Czechia, although they have the experience and they have wins over teams that are playing in this pool, albeit in the Canada Cup. A fantastic tournament, but not quite the World Cup.
They have a lot of players that play overseas as well, including Kindermanova, who's pitching.
That pitch outside, watching it into the glove is Saviola.
That
1
was
and 2.
66. Sorry, excuse me, Chris. Good crowd, a lot of fans packed into the right field and left field bleachers.
And it has to be said that this is a fantastic facility here at Youters Praha. The Czech Extraliga and the Czech Federation have run 2 excellent tournaments so far, with the European Championship last September, that at multiple destinations around Prague, and now having the World Cup here at Svoboda Park. As Lamb delivers, that one's fouled away. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Now, this ballpark was actually built originally in 1997. They did heavily renovations in 2005. They hosted the 2010 European Championships U22 women's here, and that's when they installed the lights. They've done several other championships since then. But yeah, we've been really impressed, and we've only had 1 game. We still got another week of this.
The pitch from Lamb, swung and missed, as Saviola chases a high fastball. Good rise ball for the strikeout from Lamb, and that is out number 2, her first strikeout of the game. We talk about the facility here to give you a geographic look at where we are. We are in the furthest north of the city, Prague 8, right on the Vltava River, which is right behind this ballpark. As Smekol Pekova steps in, the first right-handed hitter. Check swing, grounded back towards Lamb. It gets past her, and in time, as Whitefield had to recover it and flip to first for the out. But that will do it, as the leadoff single proves harmless. 1 runner left on base. We are through half an inning here at the WBSC Women's Softball World Cup. Czechia 0, Australia coming up here in Prague. bottom half of the first inning. One change already for the Czech side, as Slavanova will take over behind the plate. It is a straight swap, as she is listed as the designated player. And coming up against Katerina Kindermanova will be Olivia Elliott, Tamika Whitefield, and Taylor Tiscaronis. As the first pitch is in there for a strike to Elliott.
Katerina Kindermanova spent time in Mexico pitching in the Mexican Softball League. She was the MVP of the championship game there for her team, the Sultanas. She also came back and pitched in the Extraliga to the tune of a 2.15 ERA in 27 innings for the Beavers. And one of her career highlights was a 14 strikeout game versus Peru at the U18 World Cup in 2021. So she's been on the scene for a while, and she's been able to prove herself at every level so far.
0-2 pitch coming, and that just misses off the plate for ball one. Good eye by Elliott, who is coming off of fantastic World Games. She bat .583, good for second in the tournament. Australia coming fifth at the World Games, won by the United States. Chinese Taipei in this pool coming second, and Canada fourth. This is popped up over towards short. Under it is Vodakova, and she will make the catch for out number one.
Well, she got her off balance.
Absolutely.
And you see, when you're behind in the count, you just try to put the ball in play, and with that rise ball, it's very hard to get it on the ground. And an easy pop-up to the shortstop, Voditskova.
With those high pop-ups, we have noticed that the wind does move the ball a little bit, and the wind currently swirling throughout the ballpark. It is blowing in from left field and out towards right.
Yeah, we're situated on the top of a hill. Very beautiful location. We have an overview of the entire city of Prague, which is, you know, you may have heard, it's not just any city. It's very picturesque.
1-0. That misses up for ball two. Going back to the fastball there. Kindermanova sitting about 62, 63 miles an hour.
This Czech team does have a couple pitchers that can throw hard. I know Veronika Petskova can also touch 68, 69.
That pitch misses inside and low for ball three.
Three very close pitches, two just below and one just above the strike zone.
Part of this feeling out process, not only for this tournament for the pitchers with their opponents, but with umpires who are not their usual WBSC Europe umpires for the most part. As that pitch in for a strike, taking all the way was Whitefield, and she will watch that settle into Slanova's glove.
There's a lot of syllables in this lineup.
Been a while since I've done a Czech game. 3-1 pitch, misses outside. No, it's in there for a strike. And that will run the count full. Whitefield had dropped the bat and had taken a step towards first, and she is back in the box already.
Kindermanova has an energy about her. She is not worried about all of those pitches. Were very close.
Swung on and missed. Strikeout for Kindermanova as she goes to the pitch down and in. And that will be out number two.
But she really showed me something in that at bat. Three very close pitches. She didn't get any of the calls, and instead of getting frustrated and giving up on the at bat, she just pounded the strike zone. And at the end, that was a nasty drop ball. And Whitefield swung way over the top.
As Taylor Tiscaronis steps in, the catcher for this Aussie Spirit team. First pitch, this is outside ball one. Of note, the Czech team are calling their pitches from the dugout. That's why Kindermanova is looking at the dugout and then down at her wrist after every pitch. But as soon as she gets that call, it is a second and a half, and she delivers just like that. So that's popped up to even the count at one. Very, very fast delivery.
Yeah, she's not wasting much time. The pitch clock has not really come into consideration at all so far in the early going.
Tiscaronis waits for the pitch. 1-1 the count, 2 down. Here in the bottom of the first, no score. As that pitch misses just high.
Well, she has good movement, good life on that pitch too. That one came in at 69. And horizontal break of -3 inches. We have access to the TrackMan data, which is really fascinating to watch in live time.
2-1. This is chopped towards third. Up with it is Klimpova across the diamond. And that will retire the side. So Australia down in order 1-2-3. We've played one full inning here at the WBSC Women's Softball World Cup. No score from Prague. Emma Vodičková will lead things off for Czechia. It will be the 5, 6, 7 batters. Vodičková, Salaba, and Stečkalova for this Czech side against Kendra Lamb. No score here in the top half of the second inning.
Vodičková the last couple of years playing in Italy with Pianura, and her career batting average there in those 2 seasons, .394. Not bad.
First pitch from Lamb is in for a strike.
So far, both pitchers appear to have excellent stuff. A lot of movement, a lot of energy. You know, whenever you pitch in front of a crowd like this, there's just an added layer of adrenaline that flows in. It doesn't matter whether you're the home team or the visiting team.
That pitch misses low, evens the count at 1.
It kind of pumps everybody up.
And certainly today has been a bit of a weird day. We have game 1 at noon. This is technically game 3. And then we will follow with game 2. We'll be back on schedule after today. Little quirk of the World Cup, bringing several continents together. As that pitch is in there for a strike, 1-2 the count.
That looked like it was a drop ball. It was a bit high in the strike zone, but it definitely broke downwards and hit the top of the zone.
Lamb working the inside part of the plate. Vodičková is showing bunt, pulls the bat back, and will take strike 3 as she is rung up looking. Second strikeout for Lamb, and the first out here in the second. Good pitch by Kendra Lamb. And that is the first out of this second inning.
That one with 5 inches of horizontal break, 67 miles an hour, and right on the outside corner. Take another look at it. Really tight spin. And a nice frame job also by Titskronis.
Now Salaba will foul this off the screen on the third base side for strike 1. Late swing there.
Salaba in her career in the European Champions, that's going back 4 times between 2021 and 25. She has a 27 for 87 with 16 runs, 5 doubles, and 2 home runs.
The 0-1 just off the plate. 1-1. Slava plays for Bollate in the Italian Professional League. 8 games in the last European Championship, a double, 5 runs scored, and 3 runs batted in. As the 1-1 is a ball. Slava did not offer.
In her experience in U18 World Cup play in 2019, she had 4 hits and 15 at-bats. 2017, when she was 16 years old, she was 7 for 13.
Another ball fouled back on the third base side. Ricochets back into the field of play. Evens the count at 2.
And Slava will also turn 26 on Saturday, the last day of this tournament. June 20th, 2000. That's her birthday.
Meanwhile, in the circle, Kendra Lamb has had a fantastic club season, winning the 2025-26 Gilly Shield with the New South Wales Fire Stars.
That's a team that head coach Kerry Porter coached for 15 years before taking over the helm.
As the full count pitch, called third strike, Slava strikes out and is 3/4 of the way to first base before she gets the bad news. Third strikeout for Lamb, and second looking. And that's out number 2 in the second. That pitch breaking away from Slava.
Well, the strike zone today appears to have a very tight zone, high and low, but on the edges, you might get an inch or so. And that's okay. It's part of the game, and the players have to sort of get used to everything. This is one of the things that's great about these tournaments, as you mentioned, right? When you have officials that you don't know, you have to learn how it works. You have to feel out the strike zone if you're the catcher. Obviously, Titsakronis is going to sort of try to nurture that relationship behind the plate with the catcher. And
Liska Stechkalova, excuse me, I'm stumbling all over my syllables here. But the 1-0 pitch coming to her, and that just misses off the plate. 2-0. Stechkalova,
25 years old.
Plays for Ledenice Sharks. I will not attempt to pronounce the word for sharks in Czech. We will save everybody that embarrassment. 3 balls, no strikes as Lamb misses again. Slaninova is waiting on deck doing the catching, listed as the designated player. She will bat if the inning can be extended here. The 3-0. And that hits her. So it was going to be a walk anyway, and instead counts as a hit batter. So with 2 down, second base runner of the game for Czechia.
Now Stechkalova, after those 2 looking strikeouts, and there were 4 pitches that none of them were really anywhere near the strike zone, and now for the number 8 hitter, Slaninova, was originally the designated player. Now she's in there as the catcher.
A member of this Youters Praha club. Played 4 games at the European Championship, 2 for 10 with a run batted in. Made her senior debut back in 2021. I'll now have an opportunity with 2 outs here in the second. Lamb working deliberately here. She delivers. That is pop foul up the first base line. And ricochets back into play. 0-1.
You know, when you look back at the stats for Australia in the 24 World Cup, the pitching wasn't the problem. They, as a team, had an ERA of 2.33. And Kendra Lamb is sort of picking up where that left off. You know, they have strong veteran pitching that knows how to react to situations like this. The real question for them is, can they score some more runs than they did before?
Swung on and foul tipped into Tiskronis' mitt. That is 0-2 the count. This is the 3rd consecutive World Cup tournament where Australia has had to travel to Europe. No wonder they're excited to host next year. That trip to Prague, by the way, is quite long. They flew from Hong Kong to Amsterdam, 9,966 miles, 16,039 kilometers, as Kendra Lamb induces the swing and miss. 3 strikeouts in the inning and another batter left on, as Stechkalova is left at first base. We're through an inning and a half, no score between Australia and Czechia here at the WBSC Women's Softball World Cup. few raindrops, and the wind is now whipping around the ballpark. This is probably our 20th different weather pattern of the day. Good time for it.
It's the courtesy drizzle. It's required by law, actually, I think, every hour on the hour. At least for today, it seems to be. We've had multiple weather cycles, none of them too extreme, but it sort of rotates between very, very warm and then windy
and wet. And you can see that wind picking up as Kindermanova delivers the first pitch of the bottom of the second. That misses down low to Shaylin Watman. Ball one. The wind is absolutely whipping around the ballpark right now, and the flags in right center field have just switched direction from blowing in to blowing out as I'm talking.
Yeah, it might be interesting to see what happens on a pop-up at this point.
1-0 pitch coming. And that is in there for a strike.
Kindermanova has done a very good job of just hitting the corners. She's pounded the strike zone, even after falling behind 3-0 on Tamika Whitefield in the first inning.
So far, both starters are doing a good job of painting the corners. And it does really seem like it will be a game of inches or centimeters in this one, as that pitch misses low.
Kindermanova asking for an appeal.
And the appeal denied, as she did not swing, did Watman. Shaylin Watman went to San Diego State University.
She's also one of several players in the lineup that spent time at Pensacola State.
As this is grounded towards short, that will get past the shortstop Wojcikova and into center field. First hit of the game for Australia, and it is a leadoff single for Watman here in the second.
Now Watman just putting the bat on the ball, and because that pitch was down, she was able to just ground it through the middle and get it past Wojcikova into center field. If that ball is up, then it probably results in a pop-up, but because it was so low in the zone, she just sort of rolled over on it and grounds a single through the middle.
That brings up Georgia Hood, former Coastal Carolina standout. As the first pitch to her misses high for ball one. Watman was dancing off the bag after that pitch was delivered, but able to get back. She's being held on by Furkova. Quite close, it has to be said, to the line. There's a big gap on the right side. Bunt laid down by Hood. It's a good one. It dies right at the plate. The throw is not in time as she beats it to first base. Great job by Hood. And a textbook bunt that just died right in front of the plate.
And she ran in front of the ball after she bunted it. The ball lands in front of the plate. Watch this. The ball is behind her as she ran past it. And
a very close play at first base, but Hood in there safe on the safety bag. And now runners at first and second, nobody down for Jade Wall, the veteran of this Australian team.
Yeah, Wall.
That is chopped back up the middle, could be two. Over to second for one. That's the only out they're going to get, as Wojcikova sends it to Slaba for the out at second. So Hood is retired. Wall replaces her at first base. Over to third is Watman. It was a good play.
Very close at second base. You know, we saw some close plays in the first game, and none of those were challenged with a video review. We only saw one video review, and that was on the check swing.
As time is called here briefly. Wind now blowing in from right field.
There were some leaves blowing off the trees that were going across the infield like tumbleweed.
I'd say we're a good 400 feet above the rest of the city here, so we are quite exposed in the north portion, up on the, basically on the hill on the cliff's edge here at Youters. As that first pitch is a strike, swung on and missed.
Big chance for Australia here. First, third one out.
Trim waiting for the pitch. Here comes. Just misses off the plate. 1-1. Trim from North Curl. Yes.
We've been both waiting to say that.
Myra Giros, who is waiting on deck from South Curl, both in New South Wales. As that is a big cut. Trim comes up empty, 1-2 the count.
Makes you wonder what's between North Curl and South Curl. I mean, I'm literally wondering.
Well, you know what?
Is there something?
Tell you what, if we are lucky enough to end up in Australia, we will have to find out. We will go on a research trip for the people.
We will.
1-2 pitch misses very high. Slananova out of the crouch to make sure that one doesn't hit, well, us.
That was a really good play by Slananova. She had to almost full extension and catch it at the top in the webbing of her glove.
2-2 the count. Runners at first and third, one down in the inning. Setting up off the plate is Slananova. And Trim saw that, put the bat on her shoulder, and that's ball 3. Slananova telegraphed that one a bit early, and Trim knew she didn't have to swing from the moment that ball was delivered. So now the count is full, and the payoff pitch. Down low, ball 4. Trim will walk, and the bases are loaded.
So suddenly some control problems for Katerina Kindermanova. 2 singles and now the hit batter.
And time will be called as we will have a visit to the circle. I believe that is Mike Rennie coming out, the new head coach of Czechia.
Longtime coach in British Columbia at Simon Fraser University, 24 seasons in that program.
And he's familiar with another one of the teams here in Group Prague. That would be Canada. Spent significant time with their national team program. Not the only coach who's spent time with a potential rival, Craig Montvidas, who's currently in charge of the Italian side, former Netherlands head coach. And actually, is the head coach of the Minot Honeybees, I believe it is. And the reason why that is important is Taylor Chillingsworth of Australia played for him, up in North Dakota, of all places. You never know where softball will bring you, whether it's Prague or North Dakota or Australia.
And there are connections between all those places. That's what's beautiful about this.
So, in steps Giros. First pitch is in for a strike. Maya recently debuted for this Australian side. She is number 316 all-time on the Australian number list. The 0-1. That misses. No, that's in there for a strike. 0-2.
Those are a couple of very important pitches for Kindermanova. Getting that call just at the knees on the inside corner, and now she's way out in front 0-2 with the bases loaded and only 1 out.
Giros pops up. Pitch on the outside over towards second. Slaba is looking for it. She can't haul it in. Or she did haul it in. But meanwhile, coming in to score from third base is Whitefield. I had my eyes on the catch, and Whitefield snuck home from third base. A very heads-up play. And on the board is Australia on the shortest sac fly you will ever see. It is 1-0 Aussie Spirit.
Yeah, and that's excellent base running by Shaylin Watman. She saw that the second baseman Slava was going to catch the ball with her back to home plate, and that's what gave her the opportunity to come and score. So it's a sacrifice fly on a fly out to second base. And also, Jade Wall, the veteran, moved to third base on that play.
A very heads-up, very veteran play from a team that is used to performing on the world stage. As the first pitch to Shannon Keevers is in for a strike, left-handed batter.
Stejkalova probably should have called her off on that fly ball. It was up in the air long enough, and she would have had a better angle to hold the runner at third base. But with the winds, also, you never really know. We just saw an adventure on a pop-up.
0-1 showing bunt. That ball down in the dirt. Up to second base is Trim, uncontested. And the count evens at 1 to Keevers. So 2 runners in scoring position for Australia. They have the 1-0 lead, and they are looking for more. That is a wild pitch on Kindermanova.
A pitch hit the umpire, which might have saved a run for Czech Republic.
A very short distance between home plate and the backstop, it must be said. In fact, that is the distance between us and home plate as well. 2-1 the count as that pitch missed low. Keevers from Collingwood, Victoria. Waiting for the pitch. Kindermanova delivers. It's a high pitch away, and Keevers fouls that back to the screen. 2-2. Watman scoring on the sac fly, and at this point the wind is almost untrackable because it is blowing in both from left and right field, which is, in a word, impossible, but it's doing it anyway.
Every flag is pointing a different direction.
2-2 pitch coming. Checking her swing, and she's rung up anyway, is Keevers. That pitch down low, and that will end the inning. So Kindermanova able to limit the damage, but Australia on the board 1-0 on a sac fly pop-up on the infield. And through to Australia 1, Czechia 0 here at the WBSC Women's Softball World Cup. Third inning here in Prague. The score 1-0 Australia over Czechia. Chris Knobloch, Tim Collins on the call here. The second game of the WBSC Women's Softball World Cup here at Group Prague. The first of 3 opening round pools this year. The second will be next month in Lima, and the third will be in September in Oklahoma City. The top teams from each of those pools who win the final and